You've been talking about this event.
Cajun's
Um,
Aviation Dream Day of Flight.
yeah, I love
That's
flying.
a long title,
Always
but it
have.
all makes sense. It's a fundraiser happening
So,
here April the 6th at the Aviation Museum of Santa Paula.
and you got to go there. I love that place. I've
Have
been
you
there a
ever
couple
been?
of times over the years, and so it's in honor of Major Stephen Cajun Del Bagno, and I've got Cindy and Joe, his parents, in here with us today, and we don't know the story. So it's very hard for us to kind of talk about it. We would imagine that, obviously something tragic happened. We don't know how, and we don't know the story behind it. So we'd love you to take a few minutes and tell us.
Well, first off, thank you for having us here.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate you guys and what you do for the community and for us as well. Um, my son, Stephen, had joined the Air Force. And when he joined the Air Force, towards the end of his, about 11 years in, all of a sudden the Thunderbirds came calling and said, we'd really like you to be a part of us. And so he joined the Thunderbirds. And in 2018 is when he had his accident. He was a Thunderbird number 4 that had the accident at Nellis Air Force Base and passed away.
Mhm.
So when he passed away, because he was so passionate about flying, we decided that we would take that and move forward with it and help young people that have any desire to learn how to fly have that opportunity. So Cajun's Aviation Dream does that for us. So it's a foundation that now we channel sponsorships for discovery flights. We also do flights of instruction. We have 2 seats at Oshkosh. So they have an advanced aviation camp that goes on for a week. So it's also tied to their air show. And we have 2 seats there that we sponsor kids to go to. And then this last year, we were part of NASCAR. So they had us come out and Stephen was on the 43 car. And so we started another part of our group and we have now flights for Gold Star kids. So
Wow.
any branch of the service, if you're a Gold Star family, we have a discovery flight that we can give to you year round, not just during our normal time frame. So
You've been
So
busy.
were either one of you pilots?
no, I always wanted to. I was taking lessons from my son, and then the Air Force came calling, and my stuff
The best, as far as I'm concerned, the best service there is. I love the Air Force. What was that moment when Stephen said, "I want to do that"?
Oh gosh, that goes way, way back.
I mean, little
Yes, I
little
wanna
kid watching
ask-
TV.
I want to
mean,
ask about this. It says that he volunteered to clean every toilets, floors, everything he could in exchange for flying
He,
lessons.
he did. Santa Paula Airport, CP Aviation is where he began flying. And he was too young to actually get a job there, so he volunteered. And he did everything he could just to earn time to fly. And he got to know the pilots, the school. The school was fantastic for him. And he loves CP Aviation. And
Yeah.
Santa Paula's beautiful setting. You can stand out there next to the runway and watch the planes taxi down,
Wow.
turn around, take off, and come around and land. And you can stand right next to the airplanes, which
What
makes it a beautiful
Great
place.
parents you are to go along with your kid when you see their desires. I always think it's weird. Joe and I talked about our kids who you see at an early age they want to do something, and then the parental support that goes along with that helps them see success in it.
Mhm.
Congratulations to you guys.
Well, thank you.
Um, so you've done a lot in the past few years. Who was the? Have you ever done anything like this before? Putting together fundraisers and these sort of
No.
events that you. How do you even do
you kind of get
this?
thrown
It's,
into it.
We
Yeah.
have our oldest daughter, Jeanette. Her and
Mhm.
Stephen were a year and a half apart.
Okay.
Very, very close. And then we have our younger daughter who was 5 years younger. And there's the passion. Our son had a passion for flying and sharing his joy of aviation.
Mhm.
And when we lost him, it devastated us.
Yeah.
And he was always very good at taking a negative situation and turning it into positive.
That's not for. He's not giving you gang
Okay.
signs. Don't worry.
And turning it into positive. So we decided to turn this awful situation into positive and help other kids.
Uh-huh.
To date, we've helped over 40 young people.
Unbelievable.
cool.
I'm so impressed.
There's nothing like being a pilot. I got to tell you. I mean, being one myself and being alone in the aircraft at times, it's just nothing like it.
Our best thing was to fly with our son. So he would
Oh,
call and go,
man.
"Can you take the day off work? I got to take a flight." And we're, heck yeah,
Oh,
we
my
show up at
gosh.
CP Aviation and go fly.
That's wonderful. And you brought me a little treat today.
We did. This is our youngest grandchild. So this is
Oh.
Stephen's little sister's third child. So
Oh,
They're
my
not leaving
goodness.
him here.
Oh, come on.
They didn't bring
They
you
need a
gift.
break from everything they do. So come on, why not? I'm having the worst baby Jones lately. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Don't even.
I'm still can't.
You say here that Stephen worked extremely hard to overcome numerous obstacles, and I know what that's like from my personal experience. But what are some of the things that he had to fight through to make it happen?
Oh, wow. One of the toughest things that he had to do, he had hurt his knee really, really bad.
Uh-huh.
And as a pilot, you need your legs.
Oh yeah.
And so he had to overcome that. And it took quite a lot of work because he had shattered his kneecap. They had put it back together, and it took him about a year to really overcome that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he finally got recertified. And that's about the time that the Air Force came calling. And it was just amazing. And then they had to put him through testing. And so as they were putting through his trials and tribulations, he was able to overcome all of the different things and still maintain his status to become an Air Force pilot.
But don't you went at 1,000 miles an hour over the Thunderbirds came calling, in essence.
Right.
We're talking about a small group out of
I
thousands
believe-
and thousands of pilots. For them to see that in him. Hold that thought. We're
Yeah.
going to go for a quick break. And then when we come back, I want you to finish. We'll keep you over for the next segment.
That's
Okay.
funny. That's exactly
And,
what I was going to ask about.
Right. And they brought chocolate, right?
yeah.
You're listening
No.
to Trending
I brought
SUV on
baby hugs.
Just brought me a
KHTS
baby.
AM 1220 FM 98.1. I'll be back in just a few minutes.
All right. Welcome back indeed. We are having a good time. We've had so many great guests today, and we want to pick up where we left off with tell me how to pronounce it. I've been mispronouncing it all week, I'm sure. Del Bagno?
Del Bagno.
Well,
See, I knew that's what it was.
And that's why he didn't correct me all week, because he wanted to let me just step in it all
Yeah,
week.
that's right. All week long. Yeah, I thought it was a lot of
I
fun.
see who my friends are.
We got Cindy and Joe Del Bagno in here, and we're talking about their son, Major Stephen Cajun Del Bagno. And I made a mistake. You could tell the story. I made the mistake of saying, boy, you know what? Some of these guys take on these names because, it's something they like or whatever. I said, he must have loved Cajun food. So I made a fool out of myself, too, for the last
Good.
couple of weeks.
But where does that
Thanks.
come from?
Yeah.
Where does that nickname come from?
Well, when he was over at Luke Air Force Base, and he was starting to become an F-16 pilot, they had call signs that they were giving out type thing, and Stephen was a mumbler. So if you think of the movie The Water Boy, and the Cajun guy that right, well, Stephen was a mumbler. So the next thing you know, they gave him the nickname of Cajun, and Cajun stands for can't enunciate jargon under noise.
Oh, wow.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
I couldn't have guessed that.
No, me either. Very good.
That was great.
See how valuable movies are? Now do you understand what I'm
No,
talking
I
about?
still don't understand.
Okay.
Okay. You said you had a bunch of questions. I'll let you ask a few.
I wanted to know about the Thunderbirds, and you had a great question
Oh,
about.
yeah,
You just
we went to break.
whizzed over the point where he goes from here to Thunderbirds. It's an elite group. How does this happen? What did they see?
Well, he started out overseas. So he was in Korea for 3 years, and he got over to Japan in the fourth year. And next thing you know, he was an instructor pilot. So part of the instructor pilot, he also was part of there. He had a demo team that would go out and do things. And so he would be part of that. And then he came back to Florida and he became an instructor for the F-35. So when he was at the F-35, he was a backdoor guy. And what I mean by that was he didn't go through the academy. So he had his degree first and then went to officers training. And then from officer training, he progressed through the flight side of the program. And so one of the things that they they were looking at was all the credentials that he had put together to get to this point was something that they really were impressed with. And the next thing you know, they asked him if he wanted to become a Thunderbird, and what that would do would give him a little bit of more of a pedigree for his future as an Air Force.
Wow.
So he was going to be what they refer to as a lifer there.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was his goal. He wanted to
That's
become.
amazing.
It was interesting because one of the things that kind of shifted that a little bit, as a Thunderbird, he got to meet Vice President Pence.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a couple of pictures where they were just chit chatting, and he called us up and he goes, "Oh my God, Dad, this guy's amazing."
Does Pence have any Air Force background, or I
don't know that he's got Air Force background, but he's got military.
I think his kids
His
are
kids,
military.
yeah. Okay.
His kids are military.
Yeah.
How cool.
So it was like, okay, maybe we're going to see you shift gears and maybe go down to Washington, right?
Uh-huh.
But
Wow.
he had this passion for flying that, yeah, he was going to be a lifer as long as they let him fly.
And now you're grandparents. Are you seeing any daredevil tendencies in any
Oh,
of them?
absolutely. As you can see, he has fighter pilot
my
pants on.
gosh.
And the front of his shirt says Uncle's Wingman.
Oh, over his little diaper.
So
He's got.
our kids know our one of our grandsons is 2,
Uh-huh.
and he says helicopter and airplane,
Oh.
and he stops and points them out all the time.
Oh.
So
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
So what can we expect to see out at the airport that day? What's this event all about?
we actually have a former Thunderbird. Her call sign is Blaze. She had when she was on the team, she had a small child, so she wrote a book. So she'll be out there with her book signing books.
Nice.
And then we have Legos for kids to play, coloring. We have a coloring
Just
book
for
for our
kids?
son. Well, adults can do them too.
Okay.
We have an F-35 and
I'm
an
not driving out there right
an
now.
F-35 and F-16, which takes a little bit. The
little
kids
bit
will probably
of
do better than the adults building it. And we have a face painter, and then they just get to be around the airport. We also have a T-34 trainer. We have a NASA pilot, Hernan Posada, that will be out there, and we have discovery flights for kids 8 and older, weather permitting. That we're offering.
Do you want to explain what those are for people who don't know? Discovery flights?
Flight, what it does, it's an introduction to somebody that thinks this is what they want to do.
Uh-huh.
And they'll take them out, they'll show them the plane, they'll show them everything, then they take them up and give them that thrill of being up in the air.
Holy
And
moly, it's a real flight.
It is a real
I thought
flight.
it was simulated.
Nope.
Okay, so I can cross that one off my list. Great. So
No.
much. And this is, just to repeat it, it's April the 6th. That's a Friday at the Aviation Museum.
It's a
Actually,
Saturday.
Saturday.
April 6th is a
I've
Saturday.
been saying it's just Friday right here.
Yeah,
See,
it's Saturday. So
See, you're not
it
supposed to
is a
believe
Saturday.
everything you read.
I know. I have to
keep
stick
telling you that.
stick to believing everything I see on the internet. I'm safer that way.
No, it is. I gotta tell you, I won't get political on your promise, but we've turned into a country that doesn't promote the military.
I-
And
appreciate it.
the sacrifices that these guys and girls make, and your son made the ultimate sacrifice, but there are also other sacrifices. They don't get to see their family for months, sometimes years at a time, and they're in dangerous situations, and the kids and the spouses are home praying for them and hoping that everything turns out okay.
You guys are
Absolutely.
sacrificing as well. You make a big sacrifice.
Yeah.
I'd be a terrible military mom. I'm so scary. I'd be calling every day. It'd be awful.
But there's a spark in these young men and women that do that want to do that. There's a love and an understanding of what they're up against, and they're willing to fight for it. And it takes a true hero, a true person with courage and integrity to do that kind of thing. So
Absolutely.
Maturity.
you raised obviously you raised a great young man, and we thank you for him. I'm sorry for your loss, but you've turned that loss, and not demeaning that, but you've turned that loss into something that's positive for other
Really
kids.
positive.
And thank you for doing that. I mean that sincerely. Thank you for doing that, because you could have
Absolutely.
just retreated and said, "I'm done with all this," and
Yeah.
it takes a lot.
Good for you.
I know it does. So thank you so
We
much.
really appreciate it.
Appreciate your time. We'll
Thank
try to
you
get
so
as many
much.
people out there you can. I'm not coming unless you guarantee me I can play with the Legos.
Of course you
You're
can.
in.
Very good.
All right, we got to do a quick traffic report here, so people will get mad at me